There is a sense of hope and strength that comes from hearing other people's stories.
I was mostly interested in just the feeling. I like the alteration and like the intense feelings and the weird way that you can like bend your mind with just by taking something like that. I always thought it was kind of interesting. So
I'm not a blamer. I don't say a lot of things happened because when I was little, oh, and my mother got killed, and this, that, and the other. I'm a firm believer that once you reach 18, you're no longer anybody's problem but your own.
Scott and I brought my stuff up here. We were unpacking things like a week later, going through my clothes and stuff. And my old leather jacket has an inside pocket. We found a teener, and I just handed it to Scott, and I'm like, might as well dump it.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night and had a nightmare thinking that I was high and be partying with my friends, and I would wake up feeling so guilty and so shocked that I couldn't sleep again and for the rest of the night. And that doesn't happen anymore.
I'm almost 42. I've been clean since December 26, 2008. I've got 3 kids and 3 stepkids. I've got 5 grandkids, a lot of animals.
go to college at NAU for biology. I thought it was pretty cool to learn about how life things work and stuff. So when I got to college, I took biology. It really stuck. I don't know. You get to work with living things still.
My little sister got in a lot of trouble all the time. And all the time, there I was. Abby has had a drug issue her whole life. She's not a drinker, but she loves her little prescription pills. Vitacans, Valiums, all these pills she just loves.
I am 45 years old. I have a degree in studio art, a bachelor's degree from Cal State San Bernardino. I'm also working on my thesis in my master's program for education. My ultimate goal was to work with at-risk students using art therapy. I lived in Southern California my whole life. I met my husband who lives in Prescott Valley, Arizona, and I moved and I've been here for 3 years.
I'm 51 years old, pretty good health. I'm a father of 5 kids. You know, I worked as a machinist in factories and stuff growing up. Now I'm an artist in a completely different way later on in life. I'm pretty happy. I'm poor. I'm starving, but happy. I get along mostly with everybody. I love dogs. I love people. I'm a portrait shooter now.
At the age of 39, as I saw it getting on with my life and things like that, I started incorporating it actually with my artwork. I would drink and do art and play music. It was one of those liberating kind of experiences, and I thought, oh, this is what everyone's talked about, you know, as an artist. You drink and you paint, and I started off and advanced very quickly. I went from drinking once or twice a week to 4 or 5 to every single day. In my mind, I would try and limit it, but there were definite days that were, you know, excessive. For anybody out there, or whoever might see this or whatnot, you know, there's all kinds of drinkers. There's all kinds of alcoholics. I was a closet drinker. I wanted to still maintain.
Everybody in my family has mostly been involved in like drugs of some kind. My great grandma got into harder drugs, and she did like meth and stuff like that. She had my grandma when she was 17, so she was doing hard drugs and had a baby when she was that young. So they kind of made probably not the best situation for starting a family kind of thing. Then my grandma grew up, and her and her sister both had problems with drugs and stuff. They lived in a place where that was prevalent, I guess you would say.
I guess I'm an ex-addict. I'm a recovering addict. It never goes away. I kind of hate those words. I did every kind of drug that I could get my hands on, but the one that I would choose to say that I was an addict was methamphetamine. I grew up in Southern California. It was a long time ago. It's kind of a way of life. I mean, it doesn't start out being something that you have to do every day or want to do every day. It starts out just like, hey, want to help me mow the lawn here? Would you like a soda? Would you like a glass of water? How about some speed? But it was just more prevalent in, in that late 70s, and it didn't seem bad. And so, yeah, I loved it. I'm hyper and I have ADHD and I'm spastic and crazy anyway. So speed just kind of chilled me out. And I really liked it. And it was kind of just a good thing, I thought. It quickly turns into something different. It's like an insidious thing. It slowly takes over. And before I knew it, I really liked it. And
Did it for the first time in the 90s. When I got divorced from my son's father. I lost the house that we had. I didn't work the whole time I was married to him, and trying to hold down 2 jobs to keep a house. It wasn't enough. I had to get a 3rd job. And 2 days a week, there was no time to sleep. So I started using dope.
My mom grew up, she wanted to be independent. She grew up trying to get away from all of that, and she was like a straight A student and liked to read and hang out by herself, and didn't really like the way her mom was. Just got into it because she saw it as an easy way to make money, and she ended up making a lot of money and paying for things for a long time like that. But she started out just dealing. I don't think that it ever really works out that well, so she started using and stuff, and she went to jail like the first time when I was like 4th grade or something. I mean, by the time she went to prison my senior year, but was getting closer to doing stuff like heroin and stuff like that, just because the high thing takes over and it seems like you want more, you just can't stop.
I don't recognize the person I was then. And I was getting to the point I would do anything for drugs. Couldn't get high enough because it just didn't feel like I was high anymore.
it turns ugly really quick. And I became this monster person that couldn't be trusted, and nobody, they didn't really like. Well,
There'd been a problem with my dealer who was there. I had worked a deal for somebody else through another dealer, and he found out about it and was pissed. Was going to kill me for it. My 16-year-old son sat outside our bedroom door to protect me because Victor wouldn't do anything to my son. I gathered up enough drugs and was going to end it. I had enough to where if I did them all, I wouldn't wake up. Because I couldn't keep living like that anymore. And I prayed. That was on December 25th. And I actually got on my knees and prayed. My God, you do something, or I would. Because I can't take it anymore. I can't take what I'm doing to my kids. I hadn't seen Billy in 5 months, even though he was just a couple miles away. Jimmy wanted nothing to do with me, even though we shared a bedroom. Even though he was willing to sit outside the door to make sure Vic couldn't get to me. I couldn't do it anymore. And I couldn't get off of it on my own. And I didn't see any way out. I fell asleep with the drugs there, with the door locked, with my son asleep outside the door. He slept really good. I woke up and the drugs were gone. The door's still locked. I haven't used since. To this day, I don't know where the drugs went. I haven't had a craving. I didn't go through any of the stuff that I went through every time I tried to get off of it before. No shakes, no crawling skin, none of it. That was God. Since December 26th, I've been clean.
And she was clean. There was spots she was clean for 4 years for one time in between there. And she would went to meetings and stuff, and she had chips all the way for 4 years.
Every time I go in a meeting, into one of those rooms, you feel a camaraderie. You do not feel any sort of judgment or condemnation. We've all been there.
I am married to someone who's going through pains of addiction right now with alcohol. And addiction is huge, chipping away at my marriage. And I think that if I wasn't a drug addict, I would have never stayed as long as I have with Joni. I love her very much. And, it gets bad for us. And I kind of think that in an ironic, sort of a dark humor way. Of course, I have that coming to me.
A part of me got married because I didn't want to be by myself because I was too scared to be by myself. And then I know on the other hand that I love my husband very much.
She's such a beautiful thing that's clouded with addiction.
I've tried all kinds of stuff, exactly like they say in AA meetings. I've tried it all.
And meetings don't work. Nothing works. She has to want it. And I want her to know that, I want her to want it.
And now, I'm trying antabuse because I don't like to be sick. It has a very powerful effect on me mentally.
She fights every day so hard. She has it really bad. She's struggling for it. She wants it. I'm confident that she wants it.
She was married 3 times. They didn't always go very well. Then her current husband right now, she's still trying to work with, but while she's in prison, most of the time she just ended up coming back thinking she could deal just to make the money, and then not being able to just do that, and then things just get worse.
And one day I get a call and my little sister says, I want to go stay with you. With me? You know, I'm the ass of the family. I'm the one that, with me. And I was like, okay, do you know what you're getting into? And she says, yeah. I said, okay. When do you want to come? And so I bought her ticket, and she came and she stayed with me for 2 months. We went to work every day. Well, there's nowhere to get it. So, and she didn't know anybody. Everything was going really, really well. I know I upset her a couple of times because she was up on the phone, talking crap to all kinds of people. And I got a little upset because to me it was like you changed your location. You're not changing your situation, so it was a little hard for me.
I finally had to move. Each time that I got clean, I had to flee for my life and change everything and move to another town and, leave the people behind and start over. It's about the only way that I found that you could do it.
A lot easier if you just get out. You just leave, and then you don't never have to really worry about it.
She flew back home to Texas, and then I went to Texas, and I went to go pick up her grandkids because her grandson would stay with me every summer, or still does. So anyway, I flew back home, and she says, brother, I have to stay here for a while, this, that, and the other, take care of some business. I was like, okay. And I wanted my little niece, my great niece, to come visit. I had them fly back, my sister and my little great niece. So we stayed a while. They stayed 2 more weeks, and then I drove them back to Texas, and my little sister said, brother, I'm going to stay a little bit, and then I'll come back. She calls me a couple of weeks later. I buy her a ticket. She comes back. She stays about a month. I had to go back home to Texas for something else. So she drove with me, and she never came back. But, I had to realize what was going on. My little sister, every time she went back, when she came back, I found this out later, that she was bringing her drugs back, her little pills and stuff and everything. And that just really hurt my feelings.
I've started to really kind of see how it is for family. That was eye-opening to me, to see how other people are affected by it.
My family's supposed to love you and lift you up. My family's really good at tearing each other down. My mom doesn't let me forget it. She'll still call me up and, I'm so proud of you. You've come so far. You're not using drugs anymore. Okay, Mom, do we have to bring this up every month, every week? Glad you're proud of me. Do we have to keep throwing it in my face? Like, can you just be proud of me for who I am now? Maybe not. Maybe that's going to hang over my head forever.
All the way up to Lynn, my grandma's always been kind of upset person. I don't know, she's angry, and meth and stuff makes her feel better. She's been doing meth and everything since she was a teenager, so it's just kind of something she could cycle back to. Before that, she was trying to clean up. She had spots where she was clean and everything too, and she was just sad that my mom went to prison. I'm really sad that my mom got into all that trouble and ended up doing all the same shit that she did when she was a kid. My grandma feels a lot of remorse about all the drugs and everything, so she's doing a lot better now. She's trying to have everything be set up well for when my mom gets out of prison, I think.
I hope it doesn't take my kids this long to learn. I haven't taught them the best things. I hope I'm a better example now than what they've seen. They haven't had the best example from either of their parents. They've had drugs and alcohol throughout their life. I mean, they had me when they were younger. I didn't drink, didn't do drugs. But in their teen years, they saw it. I had a lot of regrets. I try not to let it bog me down, but there's times, even though I know God forgave me, it's still really hard to forgive myself.
Well, my little sister has never forgiven anybody for anything that's ever happened to her in her life. And I honestly, truly think that's why my little sister can't move on.
My children have never seen me that way because I hid it and I did it at night and lurked around at night. So I would rather die than lose the respect of the kids.
It wasn't just my life I was screwing up, it's theirs. I see it in my youngest sons. He's dabbled with drugs. That scares the hell out of me. He's in the Army now. I've been brutally honest about my screw-ups. I think that's the only way is if I'm brutally honest. You can't hide any of it because otherwise I see him screwing up the way I am. And I don't want that for him. I don't want that for my grandsons. My oldest son, Jimmy's in the Navy. Amazingly enough, he's the one that was on drug deals with me and protected me from a dealer and saw me at my very worst. I did drugs in front of him. He's the first one to forgive me. Kind of blows my mind. My daughter, Elizabeth, that I had when I was 14, she hasn't spoken to me in years. She wasn't there for any of it. She'd already moved out, but she can't forgive me for it.
Just very open and real about stuff that happened, so we were always really close. I knew about things that the adults were doing when I was little. Saw the way that those guys are and the way that they all turn out, how so many of them went to prison or jail or something, and I've known people that like went to jail for killing people, and I saw what it did to my mom because she went to jail. I mean, when I was in 4th grade for the first time, and she didn't try to hide that from me either. I was pretty smart as a kid. I was figuring out what she had done. I already pretty much knew, so she kind of told me. After seeing all that stuff, and I'd heard stories because of my grandma and my great-grandma, and my great-grandma liked me a lot, so she was always trying to tell me that I didn't have to grow up like them, and ever since I was a little kid, everybody was telling me that I didn't have to do what they did or anything, that I was going to like grow up to be, I was going to go to college and be really smart, and like I never ditched school or did anything like that because my mom would kick my ass.
The thing that I've learned about addiction and drinking, you can't hide things. We think we're very clever, and we're really not. We're horrible. We're horrible at hiding anything.
I hate it, and I grew to hate it, and I felt betrayed, and I felt like all the little good times and just having fun in that lifestyle, that was all just a lie, and I felt kind of betrayed. I still feel betrayed by drugs. Yeah, I'm angry about that stuff, and once I made my mind up that I've been screwed over or betrayed or fucked over by something, I'm not doing it again, and I never will do that again, and I'm very angry.
I was upset that everything kind of sucked. Kind of believed there was definitely more that I could do. Ever since I was a kid, that's just something that they've all been very determined that I was going to do well at, was school. And my mom was determined I was either going to do well in school or she was going to make me. She was just very determined that I was not going to have another option except do well in school. I almost didn't graduate high school. My mom went to prison January of that semester of my senior year, and I was stuck living with my stepdad. She had gone to prison because she had got caught with meth in our house while she was with him. So after she went to prison, he was still using, and then like trying to say that he wasn't and lying and stuff, and I totally didn't have any respect for him or like him at all. I was asking my friend Mike if there was any way that I could live with him, just find a way to move out of my house to get away from my stepdad. His dad had taken people in before. His dad told Mike that if I graduated high school that he would let me come live with him. That was kind of like the motivation for me to graduate high school, was that I was going to have a place to live. Things weren't just going to be shitty. The Friday after I graduated, I moved in with my friend Mike. Right after that, his dad said that I needed to do something, otherwise I couldn't live with him. So I had to either like get a job or go to college. And I just saw that school was the easiest way. It was the way that I was going to make it. That was what I was good at, and that was an easy way to do something productive and not get in trouble and actually work towards a goal and everything.
Art was sacred to me. I would start off doing something because alcohol was part of that process. I wouldn't finish things. I felt like I had tainted it in some way.
All artists are kind of insecure, and I'm telling you, addiction is about sadness and insecurity, in my opinion. And everyone has their own opinion, but at least mine's based on 40 years of clinical trials. Yeah, I'm actually really very insecure. Joni's the same way too. And she wants to please, and she wants to do the right thing, whatever that is, but no one knows what that is. I feel that everyone should be able to express both sides of themselves. I think maybe that's one reason people become addicts, is because they can't express things and they turn inward.
Out of all my sisters, Abby is the one that honestly, truly, I would take a bullet for. Because I know where her pain comes from. We suffered the same thing.
It's a solo thing. No one can help you. They can just help you help yourself. I would say hang on.
And when you feel like you're not loved and you're like at the bottom and you want to give up, don't just keep hanging on, you know.
I think we're perfect for each other, actually, if we don't kill each other.
That's why you said you're doing the interviews, you know, on mental illness and addiction, and yeah, we've got it all. The mental illness is tearing my family apart.
I barely made it.